Hello, hello, hello. It's LaShanda Henry here, aka Sister Sense. Welcome, welcome. Good morning if you're catching me on the live side. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hopefully you're having a beautiful and blessed day today. I am jumping on here for another good morning girl boss conversation so I can talk to you about your morning routines. We can talk money and motivation. If you feel like this is something that somebody in your circle needs to hear, of course, feel free to share. And of course, you can tag them here too. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you about morning routines, habits, things that you need to do when it comes to waking up and slaying the day. You got to wake, slay, pray, repeat. And all those things roll up in one, right? Wake, slay, pray, repeat. So let's dive into this conversation around morning routines. First thing that I want to do is to ask you, out of curiosity, what are some things that you do with respect to your morning routine and it comes to your business? Are there any things in particular that you do for your business as an entrepreneur in the morning? Number one. Number two, are there any things that you want to do in your business? We all should have things that we're striving to do to boss up and level up. So if you want to boss up, make sure you drop into the comment box for me, BOSSUP, boss up. Okay, we got to have certain things that we're doing to boss up. Number one. Number two, I always talk to you about GRO, growing online. If you want to GRO, get rich online, live a rich lifestyle, you got to GRO, generate revenue online, right? So in order to grow, in order to generate revenue online, you have to boss up. Hey, my dear, welcome, welcome. You have to boss up, okay? So number one, if you're looking to boss up that biz this week, put BOSSUP, boss up, into the comment box for me. Number two, if you want to work on your grow goals, make sure that you put GRO into the comment box. And also remember, if you're catching me on the replay side, drop into the comment box, hashtag replays rock. All right. So I can see some of you guys want to boss up and grow. So let me let you know what you can do to work on your routines. Okay. First thing I want to talk about again is asking you a few questions. What are some things that you currently do in your morning routine? What are some things that you want to do when it comes to your morning business routine? One of those things that you've probably noticed over the last week or so, I've been working really hard to jump on here and share some strategies with you in the morning. So integrating more live streams into my routine has been a part of my personal boss up goals, right? And when I talk about habits and routines, one of the things I want us to really check in on is the fact that it's hard. When you've got things that you're used to doing in the morning, it's hard to add new things in, right? And I realized that when it came to live, number one, I was struggling to do them on a consistent basis because it takes some time to figure out what to wear. I have a very big ring light, so I would have to set up the ring light, move it where I needed it to be, figure out what I was going to talk about that day, all of these things that just made it not very convenient. So when you think about the things that you want to accomplish as far as your morning routine is concerned, maybe things that you're like, man, I would love to do this, but I keep for some reason starting and stopping, or I just have all of these reasons why I can't start it today. One big C that I know was challenging me, you got to check your challenges, right, was convenience, right? So I'm in a position where it's taken me a little bit of time, but I've been able to set up a space where I'm not using the very, very big ring light. I'm using the small one that's clamped on the desk that's in front of me right now, number one. Number two, one of my challenges was wanting to be able to simultaneously be live on multiple platforms. Right now, I'm able to talk to you guys on Instagram. I'm able to talk to y'all on Facebook. I need to get one more so I can do Periscope as well simultaneously. But I'm getting into a routine that's working for me. Right. Also being in a space where, again, didn't know what to wear. So I intentionally, purposefully, strategically, put together a collection of tops and dresses that I can easily grab and bloop on when I say I want to, try to look a little bit cute today. You got to have some things that make you feel good, and even when I don't feel my cutest, at least put on something nice and bright so I can bring in that glow light, right? So the boss up and the glow up is real, right? So a part of this process of integrating things into your morning routine when it comes to bossing up and growing your business is checking your challenges and identifying what do you want to start doing more of, number one. But of course, number two, if you're struggling to do some of those things, what's hard about it for you and how can you make that thing convenient? So specifically talking about live streams, who's currently doing lives, number one, and number two, who would like to do more of them? Hopefully some of the things that I'm doing to make it a little bit more convenient for me might be some recommendations for you. So like I said, when it comes to my lives in particular, having this set up where this is kind of like my, what do they have it? When you're acting, you've got like your stage, or you got, your back end set up, my purple couch with my pillows, having my desk in front of me with the computer and the space to put the iPhone and the ring light. All of this is set up, so I just have to sit down, which makes things better for me. And I don't have the big old ring light blocking half of everything, which, used to be annoying for me to have to move that around. I love to do lives on my porch, but honestly, sometimes it gets super, super hot, which affects the ability for the iPhone to stay on. It gets hot. I'm out there. I'm sweating. I got to take the tripod from upstairs, downstairs. It wasn't the most convenient thing. So finding something that was more convenient, it's literally nice and cool. I got breeze blowing on me. Sometimes Prin is sitting on my lap. It's a great space, right? So thinking about the setting that's convenient, the wardrobe, even the time frame. I know for me that one of the reasons why I don't do lives every single day is I have a lot to do inside of the day. So strategically jumping on here and sharing with you guys, whether it be early in the morning or in the evening, doing late night sessions, it allows me to make sure that it's not interrupting the things that I need to do in the day, which is also a strategic, intentional thing. So specifically talking about live streams, but you can think about these techniques in anything that you say you want to integrate into your routines. You're used to getting up. You're used to brushing your teeth, taking a bath, getting the kids off to school. It's hard to start to put other things in when you haven't created a space for those things. So what you got to do is to check the challenges, the things that make it hard for you to do these new things, and try to figure out how to make it a little bit more convenient and even more comfortable, because this is comfortable for me. I'm not outside in the hot heat, struggling with the iPhone, going too hot. I'm not doing any of those things right now, which allows me to be more consistent, more comfortable in the space, right? Planning out what I'm going to be talking about. I said to you guys, as I'm working on my morning sessions with you guys, my Good Morning Girl Boss conversations, I've got my beautiful notebook here created by Dynasmiles, thedynasmiles.com, so I can sit down and strategically write out what I want to talk about. So I've got those things planned out beforehand. You got to make sure that you are creating a space for the new things you want to add into your routine, especially if those things do not exist, okay? So what do you want to do? Number one, when it comes to your business in the morning, I'm going to talk about some other morning routines, some other money, marketing, and sales conversations. But in that space, identify what you're doing, what you would like to do, if you've got any challenges when it comes to doing those things, how you can make it more comfortable and convenient for you, and ultimately creating a space for you to get better at doing those things more often. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, now that we've talked about the big C, convenience, let's talk about cash flow. For real, for those of you who are looking to generate some extra money into your business on a consistent basis, I want you to drop in the comment box for me, either one, two, or both. Either say GRO for those of you who are my fellow girl and guy bosses. GRO for me, again, generating revenue online, working on getting rich online. So you wanting to, number one, get rich, live a rich lifestyle. Number two, generate that revenue, generate revenue online, put grow. Number one and number two If you would like to work on your cash flow goals, I want you to put CFG in the comment box for me, because what I'm going to do is talk to you about now some things that you should consider when it comes to being strategic and intentional with your cash flow goals. Okay, so let's talk. One of the things I always talk about is being clear about what you're going to sell the coming week. So what offers are you going to be promoting this week? If you know at least one thing that you're going to make an effort on promoting, feel free to drop it in here and share. Okay, so you ready for that revenue? One of the things that I have been doing is inviting everyone who wants to participate in what I call my Sister Sense Circle, so that you can get access to all the good that I am releasing in the next few weeks, basically months, right? So the Back to Business virtual conference, being able to access my mastermind. I've got these wonderful weekend workshops that I'm doing virtual sessions. Yesterday, I did a session on side hustles. The week before that, I did a session on sales. So being able to essentially access all the good that I'm working on right now, that's what the Sister Sense Circle is all about over at sistersense.com/VIP list. So I have been very intentional when it comes to checking in with my audience and letting them know what's going on with that. What do you have? What's one offer that you have that you're going to focus on sharing with your audience and checking in and communicating with your audience? And number two, what are you going to do to actually communicate, right? So what are you going to check in on, and how are you going to actually communicate, okay? So I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I tend to like to do when it comes to being in a space where I'm talking about my cash flow efforts, okay? One of the things that I do is consistently send out emails. I do check in on here, and I do teach my live streams when I can. And I'm also working with my one-on-one clients. So making sure that they're aware of what, in addition to what we're doing, the other resources that I have available to them. Right? So making, again, sure that I'm communicating directly one-on-one with my clients. Number two, with a larger audience via social media platforms, specifically live streaming. And number three, with my email subscribers. Okay. How are you going to check in, and what are you going to focus on promoting this week? Very important questions to ask yourself, okay? And again, like I said, for me, my focus is the Sister Sense Circle. And so being in a space where I can have my quote-unquote VIP list of fire starters and really driven entrepreneurs looking to engage and participate in all the amazing things that I have coming up in the weeks ahead, right? And also the weeks prior, because I've been working on the VIP list for the last couple of weeks. What are you focused on? Okay, keep that in mind. Number two, one of the things that I want you to think about when it comes to your check-ins is how often you are checking in. Okay, how often you're checking in. So for me, I'm trying to do daily. My goal is checking in with my people, my tribe, at least once a day. But I'm going to be honest with you, I really am gearing towards 2 to 3 times a day. I've set personal goals for myself so that I can start doing, going back to my YouTube channel and updating my YouTube channel at least once a day. And I'm putting together a schedule for my Instagram so I can post content on my Instagram page at Sister Sense at least 2 to 3 times a day. So when you're talking about these cash flow conversations, you got to be in a space where, number one, you really are intentional about what you're promoting every single day, number one. And number two, you are communicating, you're checking in with your audience across different platforms multiple times a day. So for me, email, live stream, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, those are some of the core areas that I'm focused on, and I'm working towards doing that intentionally, and at the same time creating that clear schedule for me, right? And that's something that you've got to think about. What do you want to do, and how are you going to get it done? Okay, so cash flow conversations, checking in and making sure that I let my people know what's going on, brings me to number 3 of this morning routine list. So there are 3 C's right now that I want you to think about when it comes to your money, your motivation, and your morning routines. Okay, so those 3 C's to really, really complement those 3 M's, your money, your morning routines, and your motivation, are convenience. I just talked about that when it comes to thinking about those habits you want to form, and maybe they're hard for you, but if you find some ways to make it a little bit more convenient, you can start to do these things on a more consistent basis. The second thing I talked about was cash flow. So thinking about specifically what you want to sell, right? This coming week, how you're going to check in and communicate with your audience, and ideally how often you're going to check in. So if you can work towards working on at least once a day, or really and truly multiple times a day across multiple platforms, that's honestly the way to go. And for some of us, it's hard to do that consistently. So again, you got to go back to that first C, which is figuring out how to create a space for your audience and how to create a space for you to make these things more convenient with respect to your schedule. Okay, so what kind of schedule do you have for yourself when it comes to consistently communicating, showing up, and shining online? Because you got to show up and shine if you want to consistently bring in that cash flow online. Okay, so conversation starters. For me, there are 3 things I love to talk about when it comes to my cash flow goals, right? When it comes to communicating with my audience, what's available to them as far as the products and services that I sell. Now, lean in, listen up. 3 things: last, now, next. Really simple. Last, now, next. So you want to think about what's the last offer, service, product, program, package, event that you did. What's the last thing that you did? Share that, right? So I love it that today is Monday. I could kick off Monday and say, hey, the last thing I did was my webinar yesterday on side hustles and part-time work-at-home jobs. Perfect for entrepreneurs. In case you missed it, go to sistersense.com/VIP list. So make sure you can get them replays. That's the last thing I did. What's the last thing that you did? You want to work on your cash flow. You want to work on having a conversation starter. Check in and say, hey, in case you missed it, this is what I did recently. Okay, yo last. That's number 1. Number 2, now. Share with people what you're doing now, what you're working on now. Use that as a conversation starter, right? So now I'm talking to you because I'm working on sharing with you some of those morning routines and money talk conversations that I'm having with myself that you need to have as well if you want to boss up and grow, right? I'm talking to you. That's what we're doing now, right? Now, with respect to what I'm doing in my business, I'm working on web projects for a couple of my clients. I actually have to email one of my clients about some of his things, his opt-in for his email sign-up form on his website. Working on web projects, right? Being able to say, hey, if you want a website done by yours truly, go to webdesign.sistersense.com. This is what I'm working on now. Web projects for clients. These are the things that I'm doing now. What am I doing next? These are conversation starters. So I want you to take some time this morning to identify what you've done last, what you're working on now, and what you're about to do next. And you can share your full schedule or a part of your schedule with your client base, right? So I can easily check in with my client base and say, hey, this is the Sister Sense schedule for the week. If you missed it, first, let's talk about what we did last week. We had the Setup for Sales Success webinar. We had the Side Hustles for Entrepreneurs webinar. You want to catch the replays? Go to sistersense.com/VIP list. That's what we did last. What we're doing now, we've got the mastermind. This week, we are talking about emails, growing your email list inside of the mastermind. If you don't want to miss that webinar, make sure you go to sistersense.com/mastermind to sign up if you're not in the mastermind. If you are, log in to get the details for the webinar this week, right? This is what's happening now. Create a schedule for your week that you can share with your audience. I want you guys to think about what kind of schedule you can create and share with your audience this week using the 3 words: last, now, next, right? So for me, the next thing that I'm doing is working on my next weekend webinar. That's going to be on starting a business online, and also my next in-person weekend workshop here in Greenville, North Carolina. That's going to be on printing your profits. Essentially me sharing some things that you can do to work on self-publishing content, so you got some products to sell during the holiday season, and quickly producing quality content. So I'm still kind of debating, because this one is in October, whether I want to do journals, notebooks, or something else. I love to do weekend workshops. Every time I do a weekend workshop, the ladies come out. I give them one of my templates to help them quickly produce products. And I think I'm going to gear towards, because I just love notebooks, geared towards doing like a notebook journal, kind of a print profits. But all the details are coming soon. If you'd like to come out in person and work with me in October for the Print Your Profits weekend workshop, email sistasense@gmail.com. So we've got the virtual webinars happening this weekend and the in-person weekend workshop happening in October. That's what's coming up next for me. You're interested? Email sistasense@gmail.com. Tell people what you want. Before you can tell them, you got to work it out. Right? So what's your schedule? What's the last thing that you did in your business? What's the thing that you're working on now? At least one thing. And what are you going to be working on next? Make that clear map so that you can share your schedule with your audience this week. These are conversation starters. So those are some of the things that I wanted you to think about when it comes to being in a space where, number one, you get better at morning routine habits. The first C was convenience. The number two, you get clear about your cash flow goals for the week. The second C, cash flow, thinking about what you're going to do to sell, how you're going to sell, how you're going to reach your audience, how you're going to check in consistently. And number three, conversation starters, how you're going to work on communicating and starting great conversations that get people excited about your offers. Now, here are two things to consider when it comes to conversation starters and closing more deals, okay? Two things to consider. Number one, countdowns. Number two, questions, okay? So conversation starters and closing more deals. Number one, countdowns. Number two, questions. So for the last few weeks, I've been sharing with you guys the Sister Sense Circle, which gives you VIP access to all the ebooks, live sessions, trainings, mastermind sessions that I'm doing for 90 days, right? And I said, go over to sistersense.com/VIP list to get in my VIP circle, the Sister Sense Circle, and get all that good, right? I've been promoting that for a couple of weeks now. It's time to let it go. It's time to go on to the next thing, right? So this week, the countdown begins for the last 7 days to get inside the Sister Sense Summer Circle VIP experience. Again, over at sistersense.com/VIP list. One of the things that I'll be doing today is putting up that countdown timer so that people can see they literally have 7 days before that Sister Sense Circle VIP experience. That opportunity gets locked down and goes away, right? So I always tell you guys, when it comes to closing more deals and making sure that you can get more people to get off the fence and actually take action, you got to be clear about limitations as far as how much you have available and how long they have available to them to take advantage of that offer, okay? So that countdown clock is going up today. That's number one. Number two, you want to think about also questions. What are questions that people have for you when it comes to the offer that you're selling? People maybe want to know what's in it for them, what kind of results they're going to get when they get access to this particular thing. If they're going to be saving any money, how much money are they going to be saving? Are you clear about answering questions? So yesterday, I don't know if you were a part of it. If you weren't, you can watch the replay. Yesterday, I did a live screen share so you could see the screen. It was very awesome, like one of my usual webinars that people pay for. I did a Facebook Live screen share to answer questions about sales pages, product pages, and landing pages. So I talked about the difference between all three. Plus, I shared 6 of my favorite e-commerce tools so I can explain to you guys what a one-page sales funnel is, how to put together your online store, you know, alternatives to PayPal, and more. All that stuff I talked about yesterday. That session, again, you can watch the replays on YouTube, or you can find them here, right? Sister Sense, right? Find me on YouTube. One of the reasons why I was inspired to do that session, one of the ladies in my mastermind group went in the group and said, look, I want to do this Sam Card thing. I'm trying to figure out if it's a good fit. I'm a little confused about Sam Card and ConvertKit and what I actually need. Give me some clarity. Anybody it's my group, so I took the initiative to be that body, right? So that inspired me to do that Q&A session. And it was very helpful to her. She commented this morning and said, oh my goodness, you always have all the great answers, which is awesome, right? But it was also helpful to everybody else who was watching live, and maybe to a few of you who go back and watch the replay, right? So you want to think about for yourself, what are some Q&A sessions you can create to break down answers to questions, either questions that people might have about your products, or questions that people might, hey, good morning to you, my dear, questions that people might have about the type of content you talk about in your product, okay? One or the other. So identify a couple of things that you can work on this week. Number one, your routines. Some routines are hard to do when you haven't created a space for them, and they are hard to do when they're not comfortable and convenient for you. So think about those routines that you want to do. Try to make them more comfortable. Check the replay if you're just coming in here so that you can learn about, for me, what it means to be a little bit more convenient and comfortable, especially when it comes to my live streams. If you haven't noticed, I'm doing them a lot more often now, especially in the morning, with a few late night sessions too. I shared a few recommendations on what is working for me, so I can perhaps help you figure out what can work for you when it comes to those routines. I talked about today cash flow, some things you need to do to work on your CFG cash flow goals. And by the way, if you want to work on those, make sure you drop into the comment box CFG for me. And if you want to work on those grow goals, generating revenue online, drop GRO into the comment box so I can see who wants to work on the cash flow and the grow goals too. Okay, those are some power focus words for you. Last thing that I talked about, these power C's, was conversation starters, and how you can start conversations with your audience either on the last thing you did, what you're working on now, what you're working on next, how you can close more deals by making sure you're strategically having Q&A sessions to answer questions, and also creating countdowns so you can let people know when things are going to go. Right? So I told y'all that the VIP list is a Sense Circle experience so that you can get access to everything that I'm doing over the course of the last few weeks. Definitely make sure, for those of you who want to be a part of my weekend workshops, yesterday's workshop was hot. I talked about side hustles and part-time jobs for y'all looking to make some extra money. The week before that, I talked about some sales activities so you can attract customers, get clients, and close more deals. If you're missing these weeklies, don't miss the rest, okay? Today is today is the beginning of the last 7 days to get access to my Sister Sense Summer Circle experience, and you can learn more about it. Hey, Beverly, good morning, my dear, over at sistersense.com/VIP list. The countdown, last 7 days, starts now. And today I'm putting on the countdown timer on the page so that it's crystal clear that it all ends here. Okay. And it's an amazing opportunity. I'm going to be honest with you. I put well over $500 worth of good inside of that VIP list experience, right? So creating clear countdowns, creating Q&A sessions, creating schedules for yourself, using conversation starters, making some of those things you want to do on a consistent basis more convenient for you to do them regularly. Those are all things that you need to think about today. Good morning, your beautiful sister. Hey, sister girl, good morning. Right back to you. The glow up is real, y'all. I got to make sure the glow up is real. Glow up, grow up, and keep going up, right? Keep on going up. Keep on keeping on. So there's one more thing. Well, actually, there's two more things that I want to share with you guys today before I sign off and get started with my day, okay? The first thing that I want you to think about, and it's so funny because, just talking about good morning and beauty, being beautiful and inspiring, being positive, right? When that beauty is a part of your conversation, right? You got to work on growing, going, and glowing, right? So that you can just really stay positive and move forward. In creating a space where you want to grow your business, I want you to make sure that you are proactively letting people know that you need their support to grow. Okay. So when I do these lives, one of the things that I try to do as part of my routine is to remember to remind myself to say certain things. So routines, especially new routines, require reminders because you're not going to remember to do these things because they're new to you until they become effortless, like breathing, like waking up in the morning and taking a bath and brushing your teeth. Until these things become more natural to you, you have to remember to remind yourself. So when I do live streams, for example, and I write down what I'm going to talk about, one of the things that I do is remind myself to say, okay, remind people who are watching, turn on the bell so you can get alerts and notifications when I do sessions, right? Remind people if you are enjoying the session, literally, can y'all hit the likes and the thumbs up and the hearts and stuff? Let me know you like the session. I got to remind myself to do that. By the way, do that now. If you want to grow, right? I would love to know who who your fellow business besties are, who they could use a little bit of Sister Sense daily direction, a dose of Sister Sense direction to start their day. If you know somebody, feel free to tag them here or share this out because sharing is caring. Take a moment to share this out to your community and say, hey, work on your morning routines, work on your money conversations, work on your motivation with Sister Sense in the morning, right? This is a girl boss conversation. If you want to grow and you want to work on those routines, thank you for the hearts and the love, Miss Beverly. I appreciate you, my dear. If you want to work on the routines, you got to remind yourself of those things that you need to do until they become natural, habitual, like breathing for you. Okay, so that's one of the last things that I wanted to do is I encourage you as you're working on these routines, these conversations, these cash flow goals, to integrate into their little things, little notes that you put there to remind yourself of what's important. Remind yourself of what you've got to communicate to your audience if these communications aren't natural and you're not quite there yet. Okay. So make sure, again, you're sharing this out so we can build up the Sister Sense Firestarter Circle tribe and get as many ladies in here with that positive vibe, that boss up, glow up, grow up kind of vibe, right? Number one. And number two, I want you to remember to check your challenges. You're going to be challenged this week. We're going into a new week. We're going to face new challenges. We're going to face old challenges. This week, I inspire you. I want to encourage you to check your challenges. You see, I got my glasses on right now. I'm going to take them off for a minute. Ooh, they're so fuzzy when I take them off. Even with, I just realized how fuzzy it is when I take them off. But I'm going to take them off for a second because what I want to do right now is I want to talk to you about sight. What you're looking at. And it's interesting because I want to have this conversation from a spiritual space, but also from a superpower, supernatural space too. I guess that's the Gemini in me because we always see things from multiple sides. So I always tell you guys, you work hard, you play hard. I did several webinars yesterday. You know, it's a Sunday, but I was doing some webinar sessions and things of that nature. And then I went out with the hubby. I went out with my son, my boys. We went to go see Spider-Man, right? So, you know, sci-fi, techie stuff. Love that geeky stuff. I'm into that stuff. So we went to see Spider-Man. I won't spoil it for you guys. It was a good movie to me. It was funny, but it had some messages. And one of those messages that kind of stuck out to me was perception, sight, illusion. And sometimes our challenges are what we see. What we see sometimes, because we see it, we perceive what we see to be absolute truth. Because we see it, we perceive what we see to be the only reality. And if you're a spiritual person, if you believe in higher divine powers, you understand that at the end of the day, it's not just about the sight alone. It's about the faith. It's about what you see internally. As an entrepreneur, you need to understand to manifest more. It's about visualization. And when you visualize, that has nothing to do with your sight. When you have faith and you believe in your mind and in your heart that certain things should happen, that has nothing to do with your sight. And there were certain things that were happening in Spider-Man that challenged the main character, Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and it was making it really difficult for him to see. There was one particular scene where there was a person who he knows that was talking to him and was approaching him, and he was like, hold on, is it really you? And the guy is like, it is me. What's wrong? You're freaking out. He's like, tell me something that only you would know. Because even though he could see him, and honestly, he could even, if he reached out enough, he could touch him. He still didn't really know if that was him, because his mind was playing tricks on him. Perception, sight, faith, illusions. One of the themes and messages in Spider-Man was the reality, the truth of it, the matter of it, is that as people need to believe in something, which means that it's very easy to get people to believe anything. There was a theme in the movie. There was a message that right now people believe anything they see, right? You spin something, the right way. We see it virtually. We see it on Facebook and Instagram, and all we have to see it. All we have to do is see it and believe it. That's it. It doesn't even have to be real. It doesn't even have to be real. All we have to do is see it and believe it. I'm going to tell you an interesting story that happened to me about 2 years ago. And it was interesting. So somebody took one of my photos and posted it on Instagram and said, it said something to the effect of, woman murdered for sending out too many Candy Crush invitations. I don't know who did that, but I had family members calling me, freaking out, calling my hubby, freaking out. Is LaShanda okay? Is she alive? What's going on? People laughing because it's, sometimes we see things and we think it's funny. Oh, woman killed because, she's sending out too much Candy Crush invites. That's what you get. That's what you get for being annoying. That's what you get for playing too many stupid phone apps. Me going on Facebook and going, hey, can you find this? Can you take it down? Realizing there's so much bureaucratic red tape, that didn't happen. I just had to kind of try to get it to die down. Me reaching out to people who actually had it on their pages, and some of them either cursing at me or blocking me. Oh, this is not my responsibility. I'm not the one who did it. You know how things go. You just deal with it. I didn't create it. I just shared, not wanting to take responsibility for sharing it, or simply just deleting it from their page so it could reduce it, the aggression. And people believed it. I don't know what low vibrational energetic thing or person decided to steal one of my photos and think it was funny to grab the photo and put it on that. But it happened. That challenge, that me of, trying to figure out how to get it down, trying to fight whatever negative, this thing that was there, trying to get Facebook to turn it off, or even talk to people individually and see if they could help me take it down. All of those things at the same time, having to deal with the jokes and the low energy and people honestly believing it. Oh, look at this stupid person, right? Having messages, seeing my face on negative messages was not fun for me. You got to understand that you're going to walk into challenges this week. That when you see those challenges, you're going to believe that this is really hard. This is really unfair. This is really difficult. This is really time consuming, right? You're going to believe all of these things to be truth. This really hurts. You're going to believe the pain to be your absolute truth, the unfairness to be your absolute truth, the challenge to be your absolute truth. But guess what? Those are all illusions, because people need to believe in something, which means it's easy to get people to believe in anything. We got positive energetic forces and we got negative energetic forces. They're working against each other. We got the yin and the yang, the good, the bad, the angels, the devils. These two worlds trying to fight for us. Each individual person is being fought for right now. Sometimes you devalue yourself. You ain't thinking nobody noticing you. Oh, trust and believe. We are all being watched energetically, because the forces are trying to decide, or today we're going to get them on the good side or the bad side. Today we're going to get them away from all the stuff that they've been called to do, or are we going to pull them down into a space where they don't do anything? One of my favorite quotes is, do something today that your future self will thank you for. A lot of us don't do that. We're challenged to take action steps to do good things, because what happens is bad things are presented in our face. And when we see these bad things, we believe these bad things to be true. Beverly says, starting a book in a few weeks. My challenge is staying on task. Yeah, your challenge is going to be staying on task, because trust and believe, distractions are everywhere. Yes, boo. You have to protect your energy. Distractions are everywhere. And you're going to walk into this week being challenged. I started this conversation. If you want to watch the replay, watch the replay. I started this conversation talking about your cash flow goals, your routines. You're talking about things that you need to do to start conversations with your audience. All these wonderful messages I shared with you. But guess what? None of those things will happen if you get challenged by what you see. You will talk yourself out of the things that you say you need to stay on task and do because you're being challenged. So I want to ask you a question right now, real talk, okay? I need to have my notebook in front of me because I want to make sure I don't miss any of these. Think about this weekend, yesterday. Did you stop at any point because you saw something and your sight, the perception of what you believe to be true, was it really wrong? When you looked at that thing, it just felt like everything in your life was really wrong. When you looked at the thing that you saw, did you feel like everything was really hard? And as I'm saying these, drop into the comment box. Let me know if any of these resonate with you. When you looked at something, because again, I want to talk about both the spiritual and the supernatural, superpowers and things that want to break us down, right? That kryptonite that wants to fight our superpowers. So when I talk about that, I'm actually alluding to yesterday, I went and saw Spider-Man, right? I saw Spider-Man with my hubby and my son. I won't spoil it for you, but one of the powerful messages in that movie was Peter Parker, Spider-Man, was challenged by the perception of these illusions of things that he was seeing that looked really freaking real. There were several times he looked at some things and it looked really unfair. Were you looking at some things this weekend and you were like, this looks really wrong? This looks really unfair. This looks really scary. These things are not that way. It's perception. He had to do, and it was funny because they were talking about, Spider-Man, Dave, he got his spider senses, right? There's this running joke that, his Peter tingle, as they called it, his Peter tingle was off. So he couldn't sense things, right? He couldn't sense things. He was so caught up in the illusion of what he saw by his eyes. Our eyes, you're seeing things and you believe the things that your eyes are seeing to be true when you need to be looking internally. You need to be thinking about your internal visualization of what you want to see in the future. Keep looking at that. You need to be looking at your faith. Internally, if you believe in a higher power, genuinely, really, spiritually, you got to be looking at that faith and that visualization, not just what your eyes see on paper or in reality. Because there are forces that are battling your superpowers, trying to get you to take that eyesight as your kryptonite. And there are forces that are trying to prevent you from taking the action steps that you need to do. Every time you're motivated to move forward, there's some sort of low vibrational negative energy that's going to want to make you unmotivated and push back. Where did you find yourself in a space where you thought this was really hopeless, really impossible, really hard, really unfair, based on what you were seeing? I know you're hearing me right now, but are you hearing me right now? Is this coming in? Because some of you guys are going to look at your sales this week. You're going to look at the fact that you put something out there and nobody responded this week. You're going to look at the fact that you created this thing that you said, this is going to be my $6-figure $1 million product, and you ain't barely made $6 this week. Who am I talking to? You're going to look at these things and believe them to be your truth. You're going to look at something that you said, yo, look at this, because sometimes we need affirmation and confirmation, right? You know, somebody that you truly, truly appreciate. You're going to say, look, I am excited about this. Oh my God, look at it. Look at it. And when they look at it, the look on your face, well, rather the look on their face changes the look on your face. Maybe they're not as excited as about it as you. Maybe they think there's another way for you to do it. Maybe they think you shouldn't do it at all. And that look on their face becomes your truth to believe, I knew it wasn't going to work out. What you see this week with your eyes, check that. Because not all of that is truth. We're going to go on social media platforms. We're going to go out into the world. We're going to see people doing the things that we want to do, in the places we want to be, making the money we want to make. And we're going to look at these people with our eyes and think that's truth. It's really easy for them. They're really lucky. They're really loved. They're really supported. They're really blessed. Why is it really unfair for me? Why is it really hard for me? Why is it really impossible for me to get that kind of support, that kind of love, that kind of ease? When you don't know what their life is like behind closed doors, don't let the perception of what you think you see as far as their perfection be your mistruth, your misconception, that untruth, that perception of perfection wants to prevent you from moving forward. That perception of their perfection is internalized rejection that wants to prevent you from doing the things that you need to do to move forward this week. Don't think there's only one way that a challenge is going to come at you. There are all of these every single day. There are all of these minutes and moments. There's a young lady, she has a book called The 5-Second Rule, Mel Robbins. Y'all have it? Go get it, The 5-Second Rule. One of the things that Mel talks about is literally nobody sets out to be self-destructive. Maybe some people are so deeply depressed and sad, they really truly are aware of the fact that they're being self-destructive. But for most of us, we don't set out to be self-destructive. What happens is in 5-second intervals, we have choices. Thousands of choices that we make every day that dictate whether or not we are setting ourselves up for success or we are being self-destructive and basically setting ourselves up for failure. 5 seconds. You get up, you have the intention of doing a live stream. You look at your hair. Ooh, my hair ain't cute today. Forget it. 5-second decision. Costs you going on, sharing, possibly being in the front of somebody who can change your life. To, oh, because you think your hair ain't cute, you ain't doing that live. You wake up this morning. Time to go. Time to start planning your day, getting in the routine, starting to start making it happen. 5-second decision. I'm tired. I ain't getting up. You got up at 6 o'clock. You had a decision to make. You got up at 6 o'clock, had a decision to make. Let me get up and make some things happen. Let me sleep for 5 more minutes. 6 o'clock turns into 10 o'clock. You done slept for 4 damn hours from a 5-second decision. We are being challenged every second, every minute, every hour of the day by the things that are being said to us by us in our minds. And in those 5-second decisions, we choose whether we want to just go back to sleep, whether we want to do something that's going to propel us forward or not. We choose to go, oh, I'm going to try it. And if I win today, yay. We choose to say, why bother? Think about how many times in the last few days you've talked yourself out of doing something because you were triggered by lack of success or minimal success in the past. So you said to yourself, why bother? Ain't but 3 people watching me live anyway. Why bother? But two people gonna read that email. Ain't but two people gonna buy. Why bother? How many times have you not done something because you said, WB, why bother? You're going to be challenged by external forces and distractions, negative vibrations trying to prevent you from taking action this week. Protect your energy. Number one, you're going to be in spaces where you're challenged by you. The thoughts and decisions that you make on every second by second basis. When you decide to, regardless of what you see, have faith in your mind and in your heart that what you do can set you up for success later on. See, sometimes we're so focused on immediate results that if we don't immediately see what we want when we take action, we use that as confirmation to stop taking action. But see, you got to understand that sometimes growing feels like breaking. And in order to grow and glow and get to where you want to go, you have to keep going and growing through the pain. You're going to be faced with challenges this week. Protect your energy. Make sure that you understand that what you see is just perception. You got to get your Peter spider senses tingling to go, oh no, that's a distraction. That's an illusion. I know I see it, but it's not quite real. Because I see that it didn't quite work out, or I didn't quite get as many sales as I wanted, or not a lot of people are watching me right now. But I'm not just going to look at what my eyes are seeing in front of me. I'm going to visualize. I'm going to close my eyes and see that prize. I'm going to see that thing that I want to see 5 years from now. I'm going to see that thing that I want to see 3 months from now. I'm going to see that thing that I want to see 6 months from now. I'm not going to look at what I see with my eyes. I'm going to see that prize that I visualize, my future. I'm going to keep these spider senses. What's your name? My name is LaShanda. Okay. So Peter was in Spider-Man. He had to get his Peter tingling. He had to work on his Peter tingling. I'm LaShanda. I need to work on my LaShanda tingling. Renee needs to work on her Renee tingling. Michelle needs to work on her Michelle tingling. So you're using your internal senses to understand that just because you see certain things, your eyes are going to play tricks on you. It's what you see in your mind that's important. You see yourself reaching more people. You see yourself making more money. You see yourself getting out of the situation that you're in so you can get into the situation that you want to be. You see the future of what you want in your life. You don't look at the reality of what you see with your eyes. You look in your mind's eye. You close your eyes and you check your challenges. Every time you tell yourself to stop, every time that you tell yourself it's really easy for them and it's really hard for you, every time that you remind yourself of all the times that you stop, look inside. If you consider yourself to be a spiritual person, call on God, call on your higher power, look to your future. Close your eyes. Listen to your heart. Every time an internal force or something that you see with your eyes is trying to trick you into believing that that negative thing is truth. You want to work on your reality. You want to work on your routines. You want to work on your money. Stop believing everything that you see is real. Stop believing everything that you see affects how you feel. Because just because you see it doesn't mean that it's real. It doesn't need to affect how you feel. Feel what you want to feel like in the future. Power up on the possibility of where you want to be in the future. Don't let the false reality that you see right now deplete your energy to the point that you don't do the things that you need to do. Sometimes you have to close your eyes. Sometimes you have to close your eyes so that you can see the you that you truly are. So that you can see the you that you want to be. And it's funny. It's funny. It's kind of like that movie, The Bird Box. Right? Did y'all see The Bird Box? There were these negative energies that affected the sight, that affected perception. Right now, we're living in a world where there's so much negative energy, and there are forces out there trying to tell us. It was infused in Spider-Man. It was infused in the Bird Box. There are images trying to tell us, don't let your desire to believe in something cause you to believe in anything. Don't let what your eyes see devour your perception. And the Bird Box people were dying because when they opened their eyes, that negative energy caused them to hear things and feel things and think things that kill them, their beings, their spirits. So the main characters walked through challenges blind, with eyes closed, like Spider-Man. They had their Peter senses tingling. So even though they couldn't see it, they could no longer trust their eyesight. They had to waken their other senses. They had to work from their other senses because the eyesight was not working for them. Whose eyesight is not working for them right now? What you seeing right now is causing you to think that you're not right, that your life ain't right, that things ain't going to change, that things are too hard, that you've been doing this thing for too long for you to be still in the same situation or not have grown to the degree that you want to grow. Who's looking at their eyesight and it's killing you right now? You're going to go through challenges this week. I want you to close your eyes. You don't got to look at me. I ain't looking at you right now. I can't even see you right now, to be honest with you. All I can really see if I open my eyes is the reality in front of me. That is my computer and my phone. But the truth is, because of the virtual reality, there are people in front of me watching me, whether you're watching me live or watching me in the replay. I can't just trust the sight that I see of the things that are physically in front of me. I got to trust that God, my higher power, is going to put me in front of the people I'm supposed to be serving. I have to understand that even if the reality is only 2 or 3 people see me, God said that where 2 and 3 are gathered in his name, it's okay. I can't look at the perception of everybody else's perfection. I can't be mad because she got 50 people or 50,000 people watching her live. That does not matter to me. I got to see what I see with my eyes closed. I see me in the future in front of millions. I see me in the future shaking hands with all of these people that I said I'll never get to see. That was the visual untruth. The internal me, I've already met these people. The internal me, I'm already sitting and shaking hands with these people. They already asking me to serve them. Don't look at what you see as your reality to be truth. Look to your future. And if you got to do like they do in the Bird Box and literally close your eyes and go through it blind. There was a part, again, I'm not doing any spoilers because I want y'all to go see it if you're a Trekkie, or not a Trekkie, if you're a sci-fi girl like me. I do want you to go see Spider-Man, but there's a point where in order to do what he needs to do, he literally had to close his eyes because he said, you know what? Bump that. Having my eyes open was not working. The enemy was defeating me because my eyes were wide to all the illusions, and it was not working. If you got to walk through this week, through this day, to some degree by closing your eyes and bird boxing it to your success so that you can avoid and protect yourself from the low vibrational energies, do what you need to do to serve you. Do what you need to do to serve you. You hear what I'm saying? I'm just not on here to talk to you about your money goals. I'm not just on here to talk to you about your morning routines. I'm here to talk to you about what you need to do to take care of you, to be more self-aware of what prevents you from doing the things you need to do to move forward for you. And not just for you, but for the people you wish to serve. And I'm here to tell you that sometimes those low vibrational energies, they will put themselves in the people around you, to the point where you find yourself not only fighting with the forces that you feel like are internally inside of you trying to hold you down, you fighting with the folks around you that you supposedly love. How many times we in a good mood 1 minute, all of a sudden we arguing with the child, we arguing with the spouse, we arguing with parents. Those little useless arguments want to piss us off, take our power, believe that it's a us against them situation, cause rifts, break families, break friendships. And in those experiences, you go, why bother? Why bother? How many times does that happen to you? It happens a lot. It happens a lot. So as you check your challenges this week, I want you to also check your conversations. I want you to check your emotions. And I want you to sometimes understand that sometimes the things that people close to us say, it's not them saying it. And I know sometimes it might trigger us and cause frustration and complication and confrontation, but sometimes we can avoid those things by, turning up those Peter senses, those spider senses, and realizing this is just the devil right here. I ain't going to take you on. I ain't going to do some confrontation, low vibration, argument energy with you. I ain't going to let that affect me because it's not you. Sometimes we got to see it's not the person talking. It's something around them talking through them to create a break between us and them, to change our energy so that we don't do what we need to do next. Distractions are everywhere. Protect your energy. Check your challenges. Keep going. Keep glowing, because the glow up is real. And keep going. Write that down. Keep growing. Keep glowing. Keep going. Okay? So, it's time for me to go. You guys have a beautiful and blessed day today, number one. Number two, for those of you who are interested in participating in my weekly webinars, the next one is going to be on starting a business online. The last one was on side hustles and some amazing part-time jobs for those of you who could bring in some extra good. I did the side hustle webinar yesterday, and I talked about some part-time work and home jobs that are perfect for entrepreneurial spirits. Anyway, looking to get better at bringing in some extra. If you missed it, that replay is online as well. So again, if you want to get access to the weekly webinars that I'm doing on the weekends, as well as what I've got happening next, you want to learn about my mastermind, be a part of the Back to Business virtual conference this year, get some of the ebooks that I am releasing over the course of these weeks on money marketing and sales, make sure that you go over to sistasense.com/VIP list to be a part of my Sister Sense circle so that I can serve you and I can work with you, and you don't have to worry about getting the things individually because you can get all the good happening over the course of the next few weeks, okay, inside of the circle. Don't be confused about which one you can get it all. Sister Sense circle, VIP list experience, again, over at sistasense.com/VIP list. The countdown begins today, only 7 more days before that VIP Sister Sense Summer Circle experience goes away, because about to lock it down so I can do some new things, share some new things, and help you grow some new things in other ways. So again, for those of you who have been thinking about being a part of that, feel free to dive in there. And if you missed my replay yesterday, I did a late night live so I could talk to you guys about sales pages, landing pages, and shop pages, about Stripe, ConvertKit, Thrive Cart, Sam Cart. We had a great conversation, and I did it here on Facebook. Make sure you watch those replays before they go away. And if you missed it on Facebook, you can also watch it on YouTube. If you felt like this was a session for you that resonated with you in any way, I didn't do the ugly cry. Great. I hate when I do the ugly cry. I did tear up just a little bit in this session today. Hey, Hope, welcome here. I did cry up just a little bit in that session. So let me know if you feel like this session was impactful for you today in some way. Feel free to share it out because, like I said, sharing is caring. If I have some time, I definitely will be right back here a little bit later to work with you guys some more. So do let me know if there are any particular questions you have or topics you would like me to cover. Some of you guys are interested in learning about how to set up your webinars. So it's been a while since I've done a training on webinars. I'm probably going to do a webinar training as part of the Sister Sense Summer Circle VIP list. Some of you are looking to work on your funnels. I just had a great call with one of my clients and I helped her map out what I call the simple sales funnel. Some of you guys are looking to work on putting together new products. So I plan on doing a print your products live in person here in North Carolina. So if you're interested in coming out for print your products in October, email me. I had one young lady, she was like, oh my God, I need that template for my journals. I have a journal template. I've got several, so I'm debating on whether we're going to do the journal template. We're going to do some notebook templates. We're definitely going to print out some awesome products that you can use to push and promote for the holiday season. So if you want to come out for the Print Your Profits weekend workshop here in North Carolina, email me, sistersense@gmail.com, and let me know so I can tell you more details about that. That's in October, along with the Back to Business virtual conference. It's the 9th virtual conference, yay, happening this year. I'm going to be releasing information about who the speakers are going to be, probably starting late August, early September. Back to Business, the 9th year. This year, we're talking about being ready for revenue. So ready for revenue, that's the theme for this year. You actually get access to the live Back to Business virtual conference. You get a virtual pass for the live and for the replays inside of the Sister Sense Circle VIP list experience that you can, again, get access to over at sistersense.com/VIP list. That literally, you got 7 days. So if you've been hemming and hawing and you're not officially on the Sister Sense VIP list yet, you got 7 more days before it goes away. Okay? I'm just saying. So that is it, y'all. Watch the replays if you're just coming in. Like I said, hopefully I'll jump on here a little bit later so I can share some more. Take care. Mwah.